Good day, everyone. My name is Ivan Siler. I'm a local entrepreneur and homegrown theologian living in central North Carolina. I'm venturing into the interwebs world of, I guess this could be maybe a video blog, but we'll see what happens with it. I'm calling this God Talk, which is kind of a colloquialism for the term theology. Theology is two Greek words combined, theos and logos. Theos meaning God, logos meaning word. And so if you want to dumb it down for people like me, it's basically God talk. I'm a Judeo-Christian. That means that I believe and have had an encounter with Jesus Christ. And I believe that he was Jewish. And the Old Testament, New Testament, and Scriptures are both applicable to us today. And I've been trying to have some kind of funny little relationship with him for, 40 some years, I suppose. But anyway, I wish you all the best today. The beginning of these talks, I want to call this K.I.S.S, or in the sales terms, this is K.I.S.S, an acronym for Keep It Simple, Stupid. And we all know what that means. As smart as we are and with as much information as we have, I don't think we're really that bright at the end of the day. I know I'm not. I like to think I'm a lot smarter than I am, at least based on my decisions. So we're going to call this Keep It Simple, Stupid. And the purpose of this is kind of a New Year's message I wanted to do last month, but never got around to it because I was making it so complicated. So at the beginning of the year, it's generally a popular thing to do to make New Year's resolutions. You know, I'm going to resolve to lose weight. I'm going to be nicer. I'm going to save more money. I'm going to do charity work, watch less TV, get some exercise, all kinds of things and goals that we have on our minds that we want to do, for very good reasons. But I think the failure rate of most New Year's resolutions is by about the 22nd of January. I think that's right. And I know that's true for me. Normally my resolutions don't last more than about 5 or 6 days, and that's kind of my track record. But as Christians, or followers of Christ, or disciples of Christ more accurately, I think we put a lot of unnecessary burden on ourselves with a lot of things that we should be doing. And I know this is true. I think being in a Christian community, and the more speakers and people you listen to, they have all kinds of suggestions for what constitutes behavior for the successful Christian life. And my wife and I went to the Outer Banks last October, our summer vacation, about 2 or 3 months late. And down the way down there, I was kind of playing a game with her. I said, "Hey, Sheila," I said, "what do you think Christians should be doing? Give me a list of what shoulda, coulda, woulda, that sort of thing. What do you think we should be doing?" And so we kind of compiled a list of really good activities that Christian people should be involved in. And this is kind of a mock-up of the list we came up with, a few of the highlights, I suppose. Let me focus on these for a second. First of all, pray. Talking to God is always a good way to spend time, right? I think that's important. Love everybody. Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. That's kind of pray for those who despitefully use you. Love your enemies, that kind of stuff. So loving everybody is really important, and I really struggle with that. Some people I don't like them, much less love them. So that's kind of a problem for me. Go to church. That's always a big one. And make sure we go to church whenever we possibly can. Devotions, personal devotions in the morning. I've struggled with this for 40 some years. It's always a train wreck for me. Support missions, which is important. People that are crazy enough to follow Jesus go overseas and leave the comforts of America for the sake of the gospel and the cause of Christ. I really admire them, and since I don't have that level of dedication, it makes sense for me to pay them to do it. So supporting missions is of course important. Witnessing, being a witness, telling everybody blah 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 about Jesus, and Jesus is the lover of my soul. He's the best thing that's ever happened to me. But I have this thing I ought to be doing is witnessing all the time, and telling everybody all about him and how they should live their lives, kind of. Tithes and offerings, that's important. Financial support, all the money that comes into my checking account as a result of God's grace and goodness. And I honestly believe that. But, paying it forward, as it were, 10%, give or take, of gross, not net, that kind of thing. Tithes and offerings, paying financially, showing your love for God with your wallet. Give to the poor. That's important. Food banks, give a kid a coat. All those things are good and needful. Visit the sick. That's kind of a thing I always, I don't like to do it, but I always figured if I was stuck in the hospital or really, really sick, I'd like somebody to come see me and maybe sneak me a Big Mac or a quarter pounder with cheese Happy Meal or something like that. That would mean a lot to me. So I think visiting the sick is important. Of course, with COVID, we can't do that now. Was another thing I think I should be doing. Be Jesus' hands extended. That's a kind of complicated Methodist term I learned. That if Jesus was here, what would he do? So I got to kind of like do the stuff that he's not able to do because he's not in a physical body right now, being resurrected and all that. Worship, that's important. Getting on my knees or singing songs from K.I.S.S or something while I'm driving around, worshiping God, giving him his due and his honor. That's very important. And journaling, that's always one that kind of drove me bananas, but the really effective holy people that I know, they journal. They write down what they've asked God for and how he performed. And God does that for me all the time. I just don't write it down. But, these are all really good things to do. But the problem is I'm not that smart or that disciplined. And as a result, I really don't wind up doing any of them very well. It makes my list very long and complicated. And one thing I'm really good at in my Christian walk is feeling guilty about things. My failure is always before me. And the more I think about it, the more I do a self-assessment on, what I should be doing and what I actually do is really kind of sad. So, like I said, normally by the 10th or 14th day in January, I've abandoned my New Year's resolutions. And it's just too much. It's just illegitimate burdens. All those things are good things to do. But I'm not really sure that that's what God wants me to do. So let me offer a suggestion to kind of take us off the hook, maybe give us some short-term success. In the scriptures, Jesus said, made the saying, he said, "My yoke is easy and my burden is light." My yoke is easy and my burden is light. He was talking about animals, of course. The yoke is the harness that they would put on an animal, like an oxen or a cow or a donkey or something like that, to get work out of them. They'd harness them up and they'd hook them up to the plow or to the, whatever mechanical device they had. That was the yoke. And the burden, like you ever seen a pack mule, like in America when they went go west, young men, all that stuff, they'd load up these pack mules about 35 feet high with cargo and wardrobes and gold and who knows what these poor pack animals had. But when Jesus says, "My yoke is easy and my burden is light," the way I kind of translate that, at least in my puny little 2021 brain here, is that the fit of the harness is comfortable. Yeah, I have an obligation, but it's not going to chafe. It's not going to rub me raw. The weight is going to be evenly distributed. My yoke is easy. That's the way I kind of interpret that part. And my burden is light. Instead of piling on, I don't know, you ever seen people go to Europe for a month and all the luggage that they take and all that stuff? If my burden is light, that means I just have a few little essentials on there. And so when Jesus says, in regards to me, "My yoke is easy and my burden is light," I don't normally feel that way. I feel like the yoke is serious and the burden is heavy. But I got to try and think differently. So in the spirit of resolution and trying to have a new start for the new year, I've decided to modify this. And I'm going to keep it simple, stupid, because I am that stupid. So the grand reveal. Here's my list for 2021. And it's basically 2 words. Follow Jesus. Follow Jesus. Now, the reason I boiled it down to this is I'm doing some surveys in the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, which are the historical accounts that we look for to find out what Jesus did during his earthly ministry. And one thing that I noticed is that he was wandering around Capernaum, the Sea of Galilee, around Galilee was his ministry area. He went to Jerusalem and Galilee and Capernaum and all those areas. Nazareth was from Nazareth. And people followed him all over the place. And what I noticed early on when he was calling his first disciples is that, and I'm sure there was more to it than this, but at least the scriptural account is relatively brief and a little bit stark. And it's almost as if Jesus encounters somebody, he looks him in the eye, and says, "Follow me." He turns around and walks off. And I think that's kind of odd. Why would he just do that? Why wouldn't he say, tell me about your theological positions on pre-trib, post-trib, non-trib, re-trib, or what is your religious pedigree? Are you Baptist, Methodist, Pentecostal, Presbyterian, Episcopalian, Catholic? There's not this great litany of quizzing for qualifications. It's a real simple thing that Jesus would say. He says, "Follow me," and turns around and walks off. That kind of leaves it sort of open-ended, and maybe not as elaborate as I think that it is. So at least in my little pea brain here in 2021, I got to try and keep it simple, stupid. Life is too complicated right now. I got COVID, I got a new president, I got a weird economy, I got kids that are orbiting around. I'm trying to get the last one off the payroll. I got a wife with a new job. I've got a changing business with manufacturers I can't get product from. It's just kind of nutty right now. So for me, I've tried to keep it simple, stupid, and I'm going to boil it down to this. The only thing God is asking me to do is follow Jesus. That's it. Now, out of doing that, he may say, Ivan, you have this really cute little list over here, and all these are really good things to do. And you might want to consider doing some of those. For instance, I know you pray generally out of desperation. Your prayers, I've got a recording of your prayers over here, and they kind of go like, "Help," or "I'm desperate," or "I need help," or "What am I going to do here?" or "What did you leave me this for?" That's kind of how I pray. Praying is good, though. He might say, prayer's all right. You could do more of that. Loving everybody, that's not a bad thing. I know you don't like everybody, but now you know how I feel. So trying to love everybody is good. Going to church. I like going to church, even though we're doing video church right now, which is kind of weird. Get on Facebook, and here I am in my robe and bunny slippers, sipping coffee and texting my friends and flipping through Facebook. But, I'm going to virtual church right now, and I guess that's better than not. Devotions, I don't know. I'm still kind of looking at that one. Supporting missions, witnessing, all those things. These are all good things to do. And the purpose of this God talk is not to say don't do these things, but this is not our primary responsibility. We pile illegitimate burdens on ourselves that make us feel guilty, and it's a standard we can't achieve on our own. So let's just we're going to dispense with that for the time being. And I would say for 2021, let's try to do this. Let's try to just follow Jesus and see where he leads us. Find out what he wants us to work on. The imagery in the scriptures talks about the church, which is us being the bride of Christ. And so often we look at, let's say we're a bride. We've been betrothed and we're getting ready for the wedding. And we look at ourselves in a mirror and we say, what would make me really, really look good? So we get in the mirror and we say, maybe a little bit of eyeshadow up here. Maybe if my hair was like that. Or maybe I should, put some concealer and blush and, kind of rosy my cheeks up a little bit. Or try this dress. Or maybe these foundational garments. Or, we spend so much time trying to determine what we think we would look good in. But what we tend not to do is ask Jesus, what do you think would look good on me? How would you want me to dress? What activities would you like me to be involved in? Because honestly, he knows how we're made. He knows what we're designed for. And he's engineering circumstances to make us effective in being him on planet Earth. So instead of us being the bride of Frankenstein and doing what we want to do and looking like something really hideous that, came out of a workshop instead of like a real person, maybe we should say, Lord, how do you want me to dress for you? Do you think this makeup is nice, or is it too much? Do you think I should tint my hair a little bit? How do you like gray? So there's all kinds of things we can work on here. So our God talk for today is keep it simple, stupid. And all I'm asking you to try to do this week is follow Jesus. Let's be easy on ourselves and do the best that we can. Till next time, Ivan Siler here. God bless. See ya. Peace, love, dove. Bye.